process. Let's get to it. Gubernatorial candidates Jared Polis and Walker Stapleton announced their lieutenant governor picks over the last 2 weeks. Both candidates chose state lawmakers. Dianne Primavera will join Polis on the Democratic ticket, while Lang Sias will join Stapleton on the Republican ticket. Patty, more news came out about the Lang Sias pick only because of how the pick was presented. A little bit of Hollywood and talking points and not doing it over July 4th. But when it comes down to it, do either lieutenant governor pick matter when it comes to November 2018?
No. But interestingly, I mean, this is a position that until John Hickenlooper became governor, really was kind of a place filler, didn't do much except usually created some controversy over something completely inane like Lieutenant Governor Mike Callahan, who invited Native Americans to eat Thanksgiving dinner in a Mayflower van outside the Capitol. That was the kind of thing lieutenant governors were doing. One wanted to invest in Kenny Rogers Roasters. We've had one made up, also Callahan, one made up a fake KKK incident. So we've had a lot of bad situations with lieutenant governors. We've also had great ones with Donna Good, who is doing, she might not have come close to being the gubernatorial candidate. Donna Lynn, sorry.
Donna Do-Gooder-Lynn.
Donna Do-Gooder-Lynn, thank you.
Nice.
Well, and Good Tattoo Lynn. She has been doing a great job as basically the chief financial officer for the state, and it shows that the right people can do a good job as lieutenant governor. She followed in the footsteps of Joe Garcia, who did a lot for education, was a great, coolest lieutenant governor ever. So I don't see either of these coming close to being the coolest lieutenant governor ever. Clearly, Polis had in mind someone who would not only bolster the ticket, but get involved in one of his key issues, which is health care. Dianne Primavera has an incredible backstory there. The case of Walker Stapleton just continues to show that he's doing a lot of bumbling on these announcements. Why you wait, even if it was a top secret agreement he had to not reveal his candidate during the 7 days he was supposed to legally under state law, the end result was not worth the wait, and especially not when his handlers leaked by accident all the comments supporters were supposed to tweet about what a great pairing this was. So a real stumble out of the starting gate for Stapleton.
David, as you see the announcements both with Dianne Primavera and Lang Sias and how they were made, does any of that tell you something about Polis or Stapleton that is important as we get to November?
Yes, I think it shows good decision-making ability on both of them in being responsible about choosing someone who, if something happened to the governor, like getting appointed to a cabinet position, which has happened in the past, that this would be a person who's qualified to step in and take over as governor. In addition, when the governor is out of state, the lieutenant governor becomes acting governor, and so you want to have somebody who's got the ability to do that. As Patty said, the lieutenant governor's office has over, say, the past 60 years been mixed in the quality of folks in it. In Dick Lamb's first term, which Eric remembers, when Dick Lamb was out of town, George Brown became the acting governor and immediately issued a bunch of pardons, which Governor Lamb ultimately ended up rescinding. Polis wins on the name side because Polis Primavera sounds like a great Italian dish at a restaurant, which you would not put ketchup on unless you were some kind of Georgetown Philistine, but they're not as sophisticated as Coloradans, obviously. In addition, both of them have very well-respected state legislators, and that covers a gap that both Polis and Stapleton have. They both have extensive records in public service and public office, but neither had served in the Colorado legislature. In Colorado, the legislature has a lot of power relative to the governor, more so than in some other states. And so someone who knows how to work with the legislature is a very good asset as lieutenant governor.
Eric, when you see these announcements, do either of them bring assets to the campaign that we'll notice? That I think I saw something about Lang Sias hopes to bring in Jefferson County. Jefferson County isn't represented by one person, so that's difficult to do. But do either Primavera or Sias do something to bolster the ticket that you can see making a difference when we're talking about this in November?
No, at least at surface glance. I mean, let me make 3 points and let me try to do it real quickly. One, in terms of the respective rollout, I think I agree with what's been said. the whole Walker Stapleton, I've got a secret I'm not going to tell you for a week, just seemed weird. Yes, it was a nice press event out over at Wings Over the Rockies when they ultimately had it. But, you know, Polis wins on the rollout. He did it in the mandated time frame, et cetera. In terms of the two people picked, I actually think, you know, maybe Stapleton wins slightly. I'm not overwhelmed with the Polis selection. Dianne Primavera, by all accounts, has an interesting life story. But in terms of picking somebody who could potentially be a governing partner, or if not a partner, at least a substantial governing asset, Lang Sias has, to my thinking, more serious policy chops. So maybe he gets a point there. Point number 3, does any of it matter? I don't think so. I would hazard a prediction that we'll be sitting around the CIO table on the Friday after the November election, and whoever wins and whatever reasons we ascribe to that victory, the lieutenant governor will not be part of the calculation.
It's going to be fun to talk about on November 12th. Krista, just give us your analysis of what we've seen so far, not only with just the names involved, but the process, and does any of this make an impact as we move forward?
I don't think it makes any impact. I think Eric's right. There are other factors in play. And then, of course, my pasta joke was stolen, so I can't use that. But I will say this, Lang Sias was a really good choice. He's thoughtful. He's got a real moderate temperament. He's despised by that lunatic Dudley Brown. He is just a really great guy. And so I think and then perhaps having a more senior statesman at that seat to kind of help Walker Stapleton with maybe some of these messy rollouts and kind of getting things a little bit more orderly could be a good thing.